Evening, Tammy.
Hey.
It's Chinese for us, isn't it, with the kids?
Yeah.
Good, I'm hungry. James' kid, I've been weaning mine for about 2 weeks now. Some are 5 weeks and some are 6 weeks. The mums just lost interest, will only go in there now to try and steal their food. Well, I mean, so you're feeding them a Royal Canine puppy mush with some milk powder to it. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, here at that age, pretty quick you can get them over to just the Royal Canine and then to kibble. So you're going to be okay with this.
Well, you want to soften the kibble. You don't want to just hand it over to them hard. You want to soften it a little bit for about a week and then gradually slack off from softening so much.
Mushy Royal Canine to soft mushy kibble to harder kibble over a couple of weeks?
Before they go home, yeah.
Someone's asking about antibiotic doses. They say, how about a scale? I don't give out dosages on drugs because too much liability involved.
You can Google it.
You can Google it, absolutely.
Before we go home, we
have a female that's not registered or know anything about the pedigree. How can I get with the AKC? Well, so the problem you've got is that you're not going to be able to get AKC paperwork on any puppy unless both parents you can prove are AKC dogs. Now there's things like the APR, which is the American Pet Registry, CKC, Continental Kennel Club. They're really, got a big flare on the camera here, they're really not particularly worthwhile accreditations because they don't mean anything. So you've either got to get that paperwork done or you have to sell them that paper's really is the answer to it. Co-ownership. So we're talking about co-ownership here. I know of people in dire straits over there, this co-ownership issue. One border collie breeder wants to give me a female but stipulated that she could breed this dog as often as she wanted and keep all the puppies. Sales. I politely decline the offer. Well, I would too. Yes. So that's the important point here. If you're going to get a dog for free, find out if there's any strings attached, and if so, what are those strings, so you know ahead of time, so that you can, make sure there's any. You don't want to run into a situation that comes back and somebody says, "Well, I gave you that dog. I want to breed it," and it's like, "Well, that's not what we said we were going to do." Make sure you got something in writing. I love the way you're kidding around a well-rounded marriage.
Do what?
Someone's talking about you and me, a well-rounded marriage.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, if I take these glasses off, there's actually a black eye underneath this eye right here.
I don't have any black eyes.
I daren't give you a black eye. Got to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Hey, is Oracal, Jack Boy, is Oracal a good recommendation to give a female after C-section?
Oracal.
Oracal.
Isn't it just vitamins? Calcium? And...
No, it's not calcium.
It's
yeah, probably is.
Not Oreo, but oral calcium. Probably.
Yeah.
But I just do cottage cheese and, goat's milk, powdered goat's milk on her food. If she's,
good.
For about 3 days, 4 days, because if you give too much cottage cheese, the puppies are going to let you know to stop.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't, we use Bill Jack, and if you live in California, you can't get Bill Jack. So
can't get it west of the Rockies. Brian Alicia, what are you looking for when picking a future stud out of a litter?
Short and small.
Yeah, pick the one. Look.
With the great DNA.
Pick the best DNA with the best structure.
Best structure puppy.
It's a combination of both, isn't it? And
there's times that you can't tell what that puppy's going to look like. Really, not even at 6 weeks. It's a guessing game. It's a gamble.
Oh, we've purchased dogs from other people to be a stud dog, and then decided, nah.
I'm going to go get seats.
Not going to be a stud dog. Yeah, I'll be in there in a second.
Okay.
Finish this up.
So my keys are.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Bring my phone in too.
Yeah. TX Glorious Frenches. I have a female that's going through a split heat. How often should I be testing her?
Don't forget to lock it.
You got it. First test was at 3.5, then 6.5, then went back to 4.4. Well, I mean, so with, we talked about this quite a bit. With split heat, the problem you've got here is that you've got to keep testing because numbers can shoot up all of a sudden. But generally, hopefully, you can look at the blood color, and if the blood color is still red, wait. If the blood color is getting pinkish, test. And if you haven't, if the numbers are 4, then figure that you've got about, normally you'd have about 3 days for that dog to be ready to be bred. So test in 3 days anyway. How do you know the difference between all of these different morals, tweeds, harlequins, quins, creptics, etc.? Well, if you go to VetGen, they give you a score, a Merle score, and for that you can decide what kind of Merles that will produce. If you go to Animal Genetics, they don't. They just give you either it's a Merle carrier or it's not. So it's not so useful on that. So the problem you've got here is that, you know, in a lot of these situations, what you do is you breed the dog and see what you produce and get an idea about what's going on. And typically a dog with a nice Merle coat, and I like a splashy coat with a lot of colour in it, a lot of differentiation in colour, not just all solid colours, a little bit of white, or just all white with hardly Merle, but a kind of a combination of all that together where it looks like a camo type situation. Typically they'll produce nice coats for you. My dog has a week to go and I've done her temp, but it's reading 37.6. I'm trying to think what 37.6 is. That is 38 is 100. Yes, I think that's 99.5 if I was guessing. Look, I mean, you have to do the conversion, but what you're looking for is a temperature below 98. Excuse me, below 99. Normally indicative puppies, but it doesn't always work. That's the problem. Gina Salsar, I bought a deer-headed Chihuahua from a breeder, but she had an extra toe hanging in the back. It feels like dead meat. Her puppies has one on each side, but behind today there are a month out. Should I speak to a veterinarian? Okay, well, so I think what you're asking here is, can you remove that hanging toe at a month old just by simply removing it? No, probably not. I think that if you're going to do this is a veterinary procedure, and it's probably got to wait till the puppy's 4 to 6 months old before you can even attempt this. Go to your vet and ask, because I've not come into this situation before, but typically if you're going to remove something like this, you do it when they're 3 to 5 days old, and not when they are, in this case, how old did it say they were? Didn't remember how's the, anyway. So if you're going to do this, it's got to be done soon, or it's got to be left. Any reason why my 2-year-old Frenchie won't breed our female? He just acts like he's not even interested in her. She'll be ready for tomorrow and Friday. We'll be still collect semen if he's not interested. Well, so the problem you've got here is if those two dogs are running around together, then typically that's not a good recipe for a dog getting excited with another dog. What I recommend that you do is you separate any dog that you want to use for at least 24 hours, hopefully longer, and then the moment you introduce them, you try to collect, and that normally works. But if this dog has never been collected before, then that can be a problem too. So don't expect a dog to perform for you the very first time just when you need him. You need to be practicing with him weeks and months beforehand to get him going, and then not have him running around with other females as well. And if he's not interested, you probably will not be able to collect from him. You might try it, it might work. I mean, I had a dog one time that I bred for somebody, I think it was a Chihuahua actually. It wouldn't do anything, and I got on the floor down with that Chihuahua, and I mean, I mucked around with that dog for about 30 minutes, and finally he produced a sample for me, and we got the job done. So don't give up, but it might not work. Someone's asking about how do you get trindle dogs. A trindle dog is a tan-pointed dog that carries brindle. That's a trindle. So it's got to be either ATA or ATAT, and at least one copy of brindle will produce a trindle. Can you guys please update the studs on your website? I think it is updated. So, but if you have any questions, just call Cody. That number's at the front there, and he'll tell you what's up. Can you put a foam pad? This is we're talking about incubators now. Our incubator. Can you put a foam pad under the incubator, you know, on the floor, so the puppy on top of that? The answer is probably not. It'll probably stop the heat coming through, and for that reason, it probably won't work very well. So what I would recommend that you do there is you can put down a hand towel, that's what we do, or some paper towels, that's what we do. But if you put anything down that's very thick, it's gonna have a big fleck glare on the screen here. Something that's this thick, that's gonna block the heat and it's not gonna work very well. if a quad is bred with another quad, will all the puppies be quads? Well, the answer is it depends on what you mean by quad. But so if it's a quad carrier, no, because they're just carriers. So you got to explain to what you mean by quad, and I keep on harping about this. Give me the DNA and I'll tell you what the likelihood is or the possibilities are. But if you just say the word quad, it can be interpreted many different ways. So I'm not be able to give you anything that's, yeah. Someone says, you guys look great, congratulations to Cody and his soon-to-be wife. He's now Mrs. Hill, and they're doing great, so thank you. And I think that's it, and I'm going to eat Chinese. Thanks for watching, bye-bye. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.